Are you applying to college soon and wondering how to approach the supplemental essays? If so, in this video, I'm going to go through 5 of the top mistakes I see students make when filling out their supplemental essays on their college applications. My name is Brooke. I've been tutoring and teaching for over 15 years to help students get into college. I do SAT and ACT prep. I've scored perfectly on both the SAT and the ACT as an adult, and we have 2 full-fledged online courses to help you get a score as awesome as you are. Those are at SupertutorTV.com. So be sure to check that out if you're prepping for the SAT or the ACT. The other thing I'll say is no matter who you are, we have lots of awesome free information here on our YouTube channel. So be sure to subscribe. All you have to do is click subscribe below this video. You can also subscribe to our mailing list. It's totally free, SupertutorTV.com/subscribe, and we will keep you in the know of any new videos that we have coming out, plus any deals or anything else that's going on with our channel or our brand. So check it out, SupertutorTV.com/subscribe. You can also find us on Instagram and Facebook, so be sure to plug in. If you want to read this instead of watch it, we almost always have a blog that goes along with our video, and this video is no exception. So if you'd like to read a version of this, go ahead and check out our blog. We're gonna put the link in the description, so go check out that link and you can read these tips if you're short on time. Supplemental essays can vary very widely. So these are just general tips that I find are good for most supplemental essays, but every supplemental essay is different. There are some that are more of the like why NYU or why Penn kind of variety. And then you've also got supplemental essays like you have at Stanford or Yale, where you have lots of little tiny questions on like, what's the biggest challenge our generation faces or things like that. So regardless of which type, I'm going to give you some general tips. Some of them are going to apply a little bit more toward one type of supplement versus another, but hopefully you will still find this useful. Okay, so the first mistake that I see students make, and it's probably the biggest mistake that I see, don't repeat. Now, this is a universal tip for every kind of supplemental essay. One of the biggest mistakes that I see students make is that you guys write this wonderful common application essay or personal statement that's your big essay for whatever school you're applying to. And let's say you write that about your personal academic passion. Maybe you're really passionate about computer science, and so you write all about computer science. And then you get to the supplemental essays, and then every single supplemental essay feels like it's about computer science also. And that can make your essays seem just really repetitive. So you don't want to repeat information. Though it's good to have some sort of a through line in your writing so that we feel like you're not just a random person, so we feel like there's a story to you and you make sense to us. That doesn't mean that we want to see you say, I love coding, I love coding, I love coding in every single tiny little essay. If you do love coding, that's awesome, but you don't have to put it in every single essay. And in fact, if you do, you start to sound like a one-trick pony, and that can get old really fast. So make sure you diversify the content that you put in your essays. That might even mean that you change what you write your Common Application essay about. I often warn students not to write their Common App essay about their personal academic passion, because oftentimes that question comes up in your supplemental essays, right? The college is going to ask you, how will you pursue your academic interests at the University of Pennsylvania or something? And then suddenly you've got to start writing about computer science and why you love it and how you're going to study it at Penn. And that's all fine and dandy, but if you already told us that in another essay, it can make it hard to keep this do not repeat rule going. So be aware this might inform how you structure what you write about where, and that's fine and that's good. It's good to sort of make sure that you get everything in. Just because something is most important to you doesn't mean it has to be in your Common App essay. It can be in other places, and that's okay. Number 2, don't just answer the question. Now, I know this one is kind of crazy because some of you guys are like, what do you mean don't just answer the question? Isn't that what I'm supposed to do? It's a college application. There's questions, I answer them. But that's not actually what you're supposed to do on your college application, because if you just very straightforwardly answer the questions, oftentimes you're not going to impress colleges the way that you could. If you're asked, for example, in your supplemental essays, how will you take advantage of the educational opportunities at the University of blah, 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 right? One of the things that a lot of students will do is they will just say, I want to major in biology and I'm going to take these 5 classes and I'm going to go to this study abroad program and I will join this club. If your answer choices could be something that you could have listed out or that you could have used checkboxes if they gave you a drop-down list of like majors and classes, you have not taken advantage of the essay format. Anytime you have an essay, you have an opportunity, and that opportunity is to tell a story. That opportunity is to share who you are and what you love and what kind of a person you are in a real way that you can't do if all you can do is have a resume format or list out topics. There is a reason colleges let you write this information in essay form, and that's to allow for your personal voice and creativity to shine. It's not to just answer the question. The third mistake that I see students make, they tell me that they're really interested in a school, but they don't tell me why. I don't know why this one comes up so often in the supplements, but it does. And I think it's because inevitably somewhere in the supplements, these colleges are going to ask you about what you're passionate about, right? Like what you're going to major in or what you want to do at their school or something that excites you or anything in that kind of category. And what inevitably happens is you guys start talking about something you really love. And maybe you love computer science. And maybe you talk about like, I love computer science. Last summer I did a camp for computer science and it was awesome. And then I started Girls Who Code at my high school and it was awesome. But if you just tell me that you love computer science, I don't understand why you like computer science. I want to know why you as a human being are well suited to computer science. What about computer science is interesting to you? Is it the problem solving aspect? Is it the idea that you have the power to change something through the keyboard in front of you and a screen? Always go for the why, not just the what. Don't just tell me that you like something. Tell me why you like it. Same goes for schools, because usually the supplemental essays at some point will ask some sort of question like, what do you most look forward to doing at Stanford? Or how will you take advantage of the educational opportunities offered at New York University or whatever it is? It's more interesting if I understand why you want to go to NYU. And just because your sister goes there or just because you like purple, those kind of ideas aren't that convincing. Or I like New York. Okay, that's cool. I hear that in every NYU application that I ever read. And it's not to say that that's not an important factor or like the idea that Manhattan's an exciting place, that's not something that you could incorporate into your story. But you don't want to just say, I love New York, right? So therefore I want to go to NYU. That's not enough. You've got to figure out why this school, right? Not just that you're interested, but why. Number 4, don't be afraid to overwrite and then cut. One of the mistakes that I see students make on supplemental essays is that because supplemental essays are shorter, you guys feel like, oh my gosh, I can't fit that much in here. And so then you almost underwrite, meaning that you only write a few things down. It's not that deep and it's not that interesting. And then you just shrug and say, well, I don't have any space. This is a huge mistake. The better way to approach these essays is to write longer, write what you need to write in order to get a point across. And then you can trim off the sides and then just go to the point. But if you just shrug your shoulders and you give up because you feel like you don't have enough space, you're never going to say something interesting or impactful. So start by figuring out what it is that you want to say. And sometimes that means if you have a 250-word essay, you can write 450 words, and that's fine. And then trim it down and then cut out the fluff. And if you need help cutting out the fluff, talk to your cousin or your teacher or a tutor or whoever you have in your universe that can help you figure out how do I get to the bigger or more interesting idea without losing everybody. So don't feel limited. Don't feel like, oh, I only have this many words, and then never get your kite off the ground. You can still tell a really good story. You just have to be concise and careful about how you do it. It can be done and it's hard work. But if you do that work, I think you'll find that it pays off. So number 5, my last tip is don't settle for boring answers. Now, I don't know why this happens more often on supplements than on the regular common application essay or on a main personal statement. But oftentimes I find that when students start to write these shorter essays, you guys are much more complacent to settle for boring answers because you think, oh, it's just a short essay, it's not a big deal. What I mean by boring answers is they're answers that 50 other people could have given exactly. You want to stand out, you want to be interesting, and remember, you need to pity your readers. Do you know how many essays the people who work at these colleges have to read? A lot. You need to stand out somehow. You need to have a voice. You need to be interesting. You need to be likable. What you're trying to do is you're trying to get the person who's reading your essay to fight for you at the admissions table. You're trying to be such an awesome, cool sounding person that when they sit down among 8 or 10 other people around a table, and there are only so many spots at this university, that they stick up their hand and they fight for you because they really like you, because you've endeared them to yourself in some way. Try to create variety in how you talk about things. Maybe that means one of your really short essays is a poem. That's totally cool. If you have like a 50-word essay that you have to write or a 50-character essay or something like that, write a haiku, write a poem. That's totally cool. You might write one in a really colloquial voice and then another one in a really formal scholarly voice, right? And show that you have chops and show that you can like analyze material well and you can hold your own when it comes to academic material. So ask yourself, how do I entertain as I answer these? How do I make this more fun? How do I put more of my personality on the page? How do I reveal who I am and everything about myself through every single answer choice and in different little ways? And you're going to find that your supplements pop off the page and that they help you get into the schools that you want to attend. That's all I've got for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up. You can watch more of our videos right here on our YouTube channel if you want more ideas on how to approach essays. We have more tips. And don't forget to check out the best SAT and ACT prep courses ever at SupertutorTV.com if you haven't already. Thanks so much for joining us, guys. I hope to see you in a video soon. Bye for now.